People always ask how I balance my family life with 400 shows a year. I'm just doing what I love with the people I love. It's my magic life.
I like Wes Iseli. I like everything about him.
All right. On today's episode, we have a gym owner, a fitness coach, a podcast host, and a friend of a friend recommended him to me. And Jess is an awesome lady. And everybody, it's Brad Williams. Brad, that was an awful introduction, man. But I'm telling you, I'm so excited to get into this. We love getting in shape. Natalie just lost 70 pounds. I just lost 50 pounds in 2022.
Man, that is awesome.
Thanks.
And I am over 40 and she is not. And she wants that known at the top of the game.
I'm almost to 40, but I still got, over a year left.
Brad,
so Wes is a lost cause. Natalie, this is all going to be directed to you today.
No, your podcast is, what is it? Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast. So this is all for me. So give me everything you can.
I'll keep it in mind for the future.
Yeah. Well, yeah. Wes and Natalie, thank you so much for having me on the show. And yes, I'm a fitness coach, personal trainer. There's a bunch of different names for it, and a gym owner here in Orange County, California. And I've been doing it for the last 14 years. And I created my podcast, Over 40 Fitness Hacks, back in 2019. Really didn't do too much with it. And then, COVID hit and I started really doing more of the online training. We all got kind of pushed into that as personal trainers. And really just had a passion for, my whole thing is helping the over 40 crowd, lose weight, but without giving up their social life. I'm more of a kind of a lifestyle trainer more than a militant boot camp instructor. I'm not sitting there trying to yell and change every aspect of your life and your diet. I like to have fun on weekends and do my thing too. And since I've become over 40, now I'm starting to experience the problems of the aging process. It's hard to lose weight, and I'm a freaking personal trainer. That's what all my clients were crying about when I was that young punk 20-year-old training them, telling them that they need to be better at, their diet and workouts and everything. And oh man, they weren't kidding. It is harder when you turn 40.
And then they're looking at you like it's easy coming from you because you got metabolism. You got age going for you. Look at us. Yeah.
But now I'm having those issues myself. But I've got that mindset. I refuse to give up. I refuse to give up my social life, and thus created the show. And it's kind of where the theme comes from. And then I'll get other health and wellness experts on there as well too.
So I'm just going to lay out, Coach. I'm just going to lay out my problem right ahead of time.
Absolutely, that's perfect.
I am all or nothing.
Oh my gosh, all or nothing.
I don't know how else to do it.
Hey, you know what? That's a rare specimen right there. Because usually we like to build healthy habits and do it very slowly. But if someone's going to give me their all in, I'll take it.
Yeah, but it's probably obsessive in maybe the wrong direction. Does that make sense?
That's a job of an online coach, personal trainer, to make sure your obsessions aren't taking you down to a windy road to failure.
Well, that's what happens. I go to the gym and I'm putting in, hours in the gym, and I'm doing it 7 days a week. And
no rest days. Aren't rest days important?
So
yes.
Natalie started a health program, and she was losing weight. And I'm like, I don't need to sign up for a health program. I'll go to the gym. We have a gym in our backyard. I got 5 acres. It's an awesome place out here. I have a gym in my backyard. I go out there, get on the treadmill. I'm lifting weights, doing all this. And I gained 7 pounds in 1 week I was muscle fatigue and soreness. I mean, I was just achy and I was like, this is stupid. Sign me up. And then the weight just fell off. It just fell off.
And that's the biggest thing too. Once we get over 40, we can't just keep damaging our body like we did in our 20s. Rest is so much more important. Sleep is so much more important. And same thing. The young personal trainer when I was in my 20s was working out 5-6 days a week with 1 rest day. And I mean, you could do anything in your 20s. Now over 40, that's not the most efficient way to do it. Recovery is so much more important. And you start toning that back and working more efficiently with better quality workouts and obviously diet. And with only 2, I see better results with those 2 workout days than when I was doing 5. So you're just getting smarter. And that's why I love being in the whole fitness world, is staying on top of trends and what the body's doing, and all the different clients I've had over the years. And typically I've had the over 40, 50 crowd. My whole stint as a personal trainer. So I'm watching all that. I'm getting to practice, what I preach with them. And it's, now that I'm getting into that field myself, I'm switching up the gears and changing my routines as well. And it's just, you got to play smart. So it's all about the end game, keeping that healthy lifestyle and, being able to look the way you want to look, function the way you want to function, but also have fun. And that's where I come in.
So with our work schedule, we could have 183 shows June through August. It's just insane. Yesterday, we had an illusion show, and a corporate company bought a bar down the street. They bought it out for the night, and they hired me to come over from the theater and entertain at the bar, just a private performance. We left the house at 8 a.m. We got home at midnight last night. It was just all day long, loading in a theater show, doing a theater show, packing it all up, going down the street, getting an Uber, driving down the street, coming back, getting the RV, driving home. You don't have time to work out. Sometimes weeks where there's just, I guess I could do push-ups or set up somewhere on stage or in a 5-minute break. But coming in and jumping out, and with my schedule being so crazy, with her diet, she says that, you have a bad day, next meal, get right back on track. Right? Because it's all, I'm eating junk for a day. Well, I might as well just eat junk for the rest of the week and start back on Monday. Should I do that? Should I do that for working out as well? Just the next day I'm able to work out, go work out.
Here's the thing, though, it's not saying is when we're doing shows, we're lugging equipment. So we're on kind of like furniture movers. So I feel like you're getting a bit of activity that way. It might not be a regular workout, but you're lifting heavy things, you're moving it around and doing things, especially if there's big illusions.
My Fitbit said I got 13 miles yesterday.
Right. That's what I was just going to ask you too. Like, steps matter. All of us just went, post-COVID, saw that even the ones that we worked out a bunch, now that we're staying at home, still did our workouts, but yet not moving, not doing our daily lives, going, doing our work lives, and seeing the steps go from 15,000 down to 3,000. And so with you guys, that's not a problem. You're getting the motion, that's what you want to do, is burning calories. So that's great. And if you can get a workout here and there, that's perfect. It's more of, focusing on that diet, which sounds like you guys did a little stint with Jess and took care of that.
We did something else, but no.
Okay.
Jess has a good plan, but it didn't work.
I love Jess. Jess is awesome, and she's passionate about it and everything. But ours is a different plan, but it works. It works. It's all the same.
We have learned that you can't outrun the fork. So
Yep. So that's the thing is, counting calories helps. So for the people that are, we have to meet these people. We're always out and about hitting these restaurants up. Okay, that's fine. So you have to account for that and, watch your calorie intake all the way up prior to that, knowing that you're going to probably blow 2,000-3,000 calories just in that one sitting. Okay, well then you're not going to be eating before that or just enough to get by. And that's kind of one of my fitness hacks is fasting. Fasting is like one of my biggest ones for the over 40 crowd of just getting your body time to assimilate what you put in it, clear out all the junk in our arteries and veins and digestive tract. And help your body catch up of, kind of what you've been torturing yourself, going to all these places. So that's kind of one of my biggest ones I talk about on the show and it seems like with your guys' busy work life, that could be something that you could add to it and should be easy.
Well, I have a question.
Yeah.
So, okay. Yo-yo dieter, like practically my whole life right here. Okay. Screwed up my metabolism. So I feel like I have my metabolism going because what I'm doing is I'm eating every few hours, six small meals throughout the day, eating every few hours. So that my metabolism is going, I feel like if I start fasting, is my screwed up metabolism that I screwed up before gonna go like freak out if I fast? You know what I mean?
So yeah, you don't want to just jump into it and go all out. So for you, whatever diet you're on right now and your little program right there, we would just do like something like intermittent fasting. So that just means do your 6 meals in a shorter time frame. So normally if you're doing that, throughout the day and say it's a 14-hour time window, just try cutting off 2 hours and doing a 12-hour time window. And as you get better at it, you start shrinking it down to about an 8-hour time window. typically guys can go down to 6 or 4, and usually with females there's some hormonal issues. It's better to talk to a medical care professional first, but some say it's no problem and then you can go down there. But it's just something that you start chopping the time up like that and just seeing how you feel. And the whole thing is, if you don't feel good, you stop or go back or you try again. And but the yo-yo dieting kind of concept is people just go on a bandwagon and sorry Wes, but we go all in, we're going to do it, and then they feel terrible. And that's fine, because some people did work well, all our body chemistries are different, and then just giving up. So it's better to pick something, try it, sample it, and try everything, and then you'll find something that works. And that's why I say dieting is, there's no one diet for everybody. It's whatever one that works for you and your lifestyle and your work life, and then you just start building habits on top of that. So intermittent fasting is just easy because you don't have to change anyone's style of eating or dieting. You just add that simple little program, and they just condense down what they're doing, and then you just take baby steps after that.
Dude, we just learned about cauliflower pizza this year, and it's awesome, because that's something we can pick up on the road. We did last night. We stopped, we ordered it, met it halfway. It was on our way home. Ordered a regular pizza for the kids. I have a crew of 6, so I got identical twin boys. I got an 11-year-old girl, a babysitter. We got them a large cheese pizza to split, and we split a cauliflower crust pizza. So good. So good.
And that's the thing is doing that concept of eat this, not that. Just pick some of your worst stuff and just, you got to try a lot of stuff, but you'll find something that you like, and hopefully you can order that and keep that around.
We love it. We love it. So over 40 fitness hacks. I keep looking down here. We're recording audio and video today. Today's our first episode of video. So thank you for bearing with us. It took us a little while to get started here.
Yeah, no problem.
But, you see me looking around. I have notes here beside me here. You have a lot of doctors on your podcast. I was going on your website, which is also Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast website, right? Podcast.com?
Yeah, over40fitnesshacks.com. No podcast.
Okay. All right. So you have a lot of doctors on there talking about metabolism. Somewhere along the line, I heard was that the one that was bad for your kidney or liver, the fasting?
I think it was keto.
Was keto. Okay. But is there any side effects with the fasting? There's no side effects at all. It doesn't ruin your metabolism?
Doesn't ruin your metabolism. But for some people doing fasting, everyone's body chemistry is different. The things to watch out for are elevated heart rate. Maybe your pulse is going higher, and that's kind of a something to watch out for. Just being woozy and fainty. But usually, if you'll see that, then you kind of back off and maybe don't do the 8-hour, do the 10-hour. But just like I said, if you feel like it's just not for you, then scrap it and we'll move on. I got a million different hacks to help people, so you just got to find the right building blocks for each person. Just like Natalie found something that restored her metabolism, and you got that going. Don't let go of that, but don't be afraid to stack other things on there and try it. If you don't like it, just come right back. Because I'm telling you, just the over 40 game, just aging. I'm sorry, it's just not fair, but this is the natural progression of our genetics, is for our body to hold on to fat like you wouldn't believe it. It would rather leach out muscle, bone, water weight before it ever lets go of fat, because that's what protects you in case we can't find our next meal.
Yeah.
Well, I grew up, I talk about it all the time. I love Arnold Schwarzenegger, and I have all of his books and magazines in the gym. And he had a workout program, and as a trainer, you might be able to help me here. But he did chest, tricep, shoulders on Monday, back, abs on Tuesday, and then legs on Wednesday, and then repeat that or whatever, or mix them up. But I just heard recently that that's old thinking, that you should do every muscle group every day. What is your theory on that? What do you think?
Yeah, so I'm kind of past, I think 35, I started accepting that idea as well, and felt a lot better doing that. Those old splits, we call them splits, of doing chest and tries, back and bis, legs and shoulders. If you were really looking to size up, then you would want to put that kind of focus on it, and give it an entire day, because you would do Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday with those 3 options, take 1 rest day and then repeat them. So now you're working out 6 times a week with 1 rest day. You know, when you're in your 20s and you're trying to size up for a competition, and of course, all of us, just like you, we got all the books and everything, we want to do it too. And it, you know, we got some size and all that, but you know, we can recover and it's a lot easy.
You may have gotten some size. I never did.
Well, then the other part is, you know, dieting. If you're not dieting, that it's kind of a waste of time to really do that. But, you know, it's also you're moving, you're having fun, you enjoy it. That's the other, you know, why I got into, you know, weightlifting and circuit training. But yeah, as you get older, it's not very efficient. It's just more risk to injury. So now it's better to just do more often, you know, full body. That way you're burning more, you're at least getting a bare minimum for every muscle group. And then also to start doing more negatives. I don't know if you remember that term, but that's like time under tension of like, you know, doing a squat, coming up, and then slowly dropping back down, like 5 to 10 full seconds. And that's called an eccentric movement. And you're actually a lot stronger with that eccentric movement than you are with the push, either standing or like a chest press pushing out. And a lot of us didn't really train that way, and we should have. But doing that makes the exercise so much harder that you can use less weight and still get the same benefits and goals of what you were trying to do. And thus, being over 40, that's kind of a concept that I push with a lot of my clients because it's safer, they get more bang for their buck. And then, you know, a 30-minute workout doing it that way is getting you better results than an hour of the old style.
Wow.
Yeah, I don't know that technique. I don't know about that.
So
Okay.
like in Pilates, they kind of incorporate that, just everything slow motion and everything. So you're elongating the muscle, you're getting that eccentric motion that we're just talking about. But the problem with, you know, in Pilates is great, and I do it for myself too. But if you're really trying to put on the lean muscle mass, you know, you got to incorporate some of the weightlifting circuit training as well, if that's your goal.
Well, you did Pilates when she was pregnant. She had a pregnancy Pilates and different things like that. So I've never messed with Pilates either. Yeah.
But for a guy my size going in the Pilates class, they don't have enough weights on there, even as I'm doing it slow. You know, maybe the leg stuff will kill me, but the upper body was just, there was nothing there for me.
That's not the case for me.
Well, then you're fine, Ellie. Pilates is great.
It's so sad. You got tips? You got tips for female push-ups? She does the knee thing, and that just makes me sad.
So that's a good one. Pull up and push up is kind of a good one. A lot of the females want to be able to do a certain amount, and that's an easy thing to do. Is focus on that eccentric motion. So elevator push up. Instead of doing a bunch of push-ups, do a push-up hold and then pop back up and then come back down and hold as long as you can. You might be able to do, I don't know how many push-ups you can do right now, but you'll be doing like 1/10 of the amount. And you'll be surprised. You'll get better results off that than just trying to do, I'm just going to do one more push-up every time I do this. You know, 3 months later, maybe you get your goal. And then with this method, in 2 weeks, you'll hit your goal.
Oh, wow. Okay, cool.
And then pull up, same thing. It's easier to start with a lat pull machine where, you know, you grab that bar and pull down versus trying to use your entire body weight starting out on a pull-up bar. So on the lat pull machine, you would select a weight that you can do, slowly come down, and then fight that and let it go up so slowly, like 10 full seconds to get that eccentric motion. And same thing. I've got girls doing pull-ups a lot faster than if they had done the other way.
Wow,
Cool.
That's awesome.
I'll have to try that.
So you have all kinds of different, how long have you been doing your podcast?
I've been doing the podcast for, I think, 3.5 years, but more active, like I said, for 1.5 to 2 years.
So for hers, she's doing Optavia. I don't know if you've heard of that. She's become a coach on it. She's got tons of clients now. She's doing great. And she's a role model for all these people. I mean, 70 pounds. She had twins, and for a year, she couldn't get rid of that weight. It was just, and they were like, oh, she's one of those people that holds the weight while she breastfeeds. All right, well, I'm done breastfeeding. Now I'm still have the weight. And we tried Weight Watchers. We tried all these other programs, and Optavia just worked for us. So
yeah. And I remember Optavia being like so nutrient dense. That was like the core philosophy of all their stuff. And I tried it as well, and I was pretty impressed with, you know, what I got in 30 days. I kind of did like a 30-day challenge on that.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. So when you have a podcast episode called Meal Prepping, for us, we're on a 5-in-1 with Optavia. So we have 5 of the prepackaged meals that they have for Optavia and 1 where we eat out or make it home. When you had your podcast, what is your meal prepping episode about? Because that's what people have to think about. They have to think about their day before it starts. Because when you're busy and you got podcasts and you're trying to figure out Zoom and you're trying to get the anchor thing and we're trying to get 2 different things going. I got kids to feed. I got animals to feed. It gets crazy. So meal prepping, I think, is important.
Yeah. So for meal prepping, I think with that episode, I was talking about one of my clients too, who was interested in doing it. So I was kind of cooking for both of us. And, I'm on more of the keto diet where he's more of on the bodybuilder, needs his carbs because he needs his energy he's still into powerlifting and that kind of stuff. And so, it was more about prepping for both of us. And then, I combine what I need into mine and his into his. But just like, just some tips and tricks of, always going with like kind of leaner quality cut meats and using more like healthy oils like avocado oil and olive oil instead of getting, the fatty tri-tip or ribeye, which is, great, for on your cheat days and stuff. But just how to cook in mass bulk. And don't be afraid to, get those higher protein amounts. That's kind of been a big thing that's been talked to death over the last 15 years is how much can the body assimilate? It's only 20 grams. No, it's 30 grams. No, you can go more. And what I've found out and through the course of talking to other personal trainers and bodybuilders, it varies from person to person. So you kind of pick a marker, say 30 grams, maybe that's a little more than you're taking right now, and try it. And you'll know within a couple weeks, like, oh, I feel a little pudgier. Okay, well, that probably your body isn't assimilating it and storing it as fat. But it is real hard for protein to turn into fat just because of how long it takes to digest it. Carbs and fat are a little bit easier to turn to fat. So, and my meals, for me and my client, I pop up the protein to about 60, 65 grams per head. And for a size guy like me, 210, I'm trying to hit 200 grams of protein. It's freaking hard to hit it. So I need, not only big, huge meals like that, but I need supplements like protein shakes, which I also take about 60 grams in those as well, or else you'll never hit your mark. There's not enough time in the day.
Wow.
So
Natalie, how much protein do you take on your program?
I don't know how to do grams, but so that I can tell you ounces. It just depends on how lean the meat is. So you get the leaner the meat, the more you get. And so if it's something like steak, you get a 5-ounce serving. Whereas if it's like shrimp or something, you have 7 ounces. But if it is like fish or something where it's really, really lean meat, you have to add in healthy fats as well. Yeah.
But Optavia doesn't have like a tracker chart of this is how much protein that you need throughout the day, or is it just already blended in for you?
Lots of protein in all of the fuelings as well. So you're getting a good amount of protein in each fueling that you eat throughout the day. Yeah. And then green, there is so much protein that you have when you make your lean and green for your meal.
I'm thinking every prepackaged meal has like 10 at least.
10, yeah. Or 10 to 20, yeah. But I think I remember when I was doing it that, because I needed so much more, I had to supplement on top of taking Optavia.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Okay. You can go get a bar. You want to run and get a bar?
I had one.
Get the trash. It's right there. She's going off camera here.
All right.
So fitness trackers. I have a little Fitbit, but I'm allergic to metal, so I put it on my ankle. Everybody laughs at me. They think I'm on house arrest.
Box, not on here.
They think I'm on house arrest because I have the Fitbit on my ankle. Is there a tracker like
11 grams?
You know what? When I was just kind of using my Android phone. That pretty much there's all the phones come with a app built in already for fitness, and you just keep it in your pocket, which you normally would anyways, and it tracks all your steps. I think it actually tracked it better than the Fitbit, or at least the model I had a long time ago, because there was a joke, you go on the treadmill and count all your steps, but if you went on the elliptical, it wouldn't feel the bounce, so you'd get nothing. Okay. And I noticed my phone would capture everything, so I kind of always use that. But I do push on my clients to get something, because it's motivating and challenging to, set a goal of I'm going to hit 10,000 steps or, whatever the number is.
Well, and then with her, she's 6 inches taller than me. which feels like a foot when we're side by side. 5 inches taller than me. And her stride, she's all leg. Her stride, her Fitbit, we can walk together, and I always get like a half a mile more on a couple of laps around.
It's more than that. It pisses me off. I'm like, I have walked just as much as you.
Yeah, it's not perfect, but I'm assuming they're getting better and better quality.
No, it's my steps. I am taking more steps. She's got.
Oh, not just, you're not talking about just doing that couple miles and then looking at your thing and you're more than her. You're saying just in a day.
No. If we hold hands and walk around my trails that I have on my 5 acres,
yeah, you'll show more.
But I get more steps because my little legs are just moving more than hers.
And so,
that is true. Yeah, but not more mileage. So that's why I thought you were saying that one showed more mileage.
As I have less mileage because it says I took less steps.
Right.
But that's the Fitbit. That's not the phone. So.
Yeah.
But see, she uses my phone for business. Business calls come on my phone, so I leave it in the office while I'm outside chopping wood and stuff. So it doesn't help me at all. So
maybe you guys exchange your Fitbits and phone, whatever you're using, to see if the other one does it.
No, it definitely doesn't. It definitely doesn't.
Yeah.
All right. So what was the grams of that? She just had a bar.
Yeah, there was 11 grams in that bar. So if there's 11 grams of protein and all the fuelings, that's at least 55 grams. And I don't know how you transfer. I'm not good.
So it's probably like with 6 feelings, you're probably getting like 60 to 70, and that's pretty decent. That's more than a lot of people get. But yeah, for the guys, we probably need to be a little higher, like 135 to, if you're really going at it like someone like me, to 200. So that's why I had a supplement on top of that. But it's still their whole thing is more of nutrient dense food, everything that you put in your mouth, which is good. It's healthy.
Yeah, and this part is for the weight loss phase. So once you get out of the weight loss phase, you transition off eating the fuelings and go back to eating whole foods and fruits and all that. And then you're supposed to figure out what you want to do as far as they call it healthy movement. So it doesn't freak people out when you're like, you need to start working out. They say healthy movement so that and it doesn't have to be a hardcore workout unless you want it to be like you, where you're building muscle and all. It doesn't have to be like that. It can be whatever is fun for you.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Coach, she does Taekwondo with her family, and that is her healthy movement to get her calories burned. So yeah.
But yeah, either way, if when you come off it and whatever you're on, make sure to kind of every now and then track and count how many grams of protein you're hitting a day. Because I'll slip from time to time where I change my diet or eating structure a little bit, and then go back. I'm like, oh my God, I'm not even close. So I have to reassess. So.
Okay.
Wow. So this is perfect for my next question. I have family members that don't want to work out. How do you motivate somebody? You had a podcast episode about this. How do you motivate family to work out when they don't?
But can you really, if they're not at that place and they're not ready to do it?
I don't know. He had a title of an episode. Let him answer.
Yeah. So I think that was my mom, and I remember in there I was like, I hope she doesn't listen to this one because she hates when I talk about her. But yeah, just for my mom, it was I use that example because her and my sister have just never been the greatest clients, so they've kind of gone in and out of my programs and everything. But I've learned that you need to set a goal, and one of her goals was losing weight before she was going on a cruise. I'm like, okay. And now I know, like, someone's got to have like a goal in mind, or someone like that. It's just, you're never going to push them enough to do it. So maybe you have to find that goal for them or excite them about something, and then you find it and then you hold on to it. All right, this is what we're doing. This is the plan. She got all excited about it. And then she let me start going through her diet, which she never let me do before. And then I, just did a couple tweaks, nothing crazy. Just increased her protein, increased her potassium a little bit. And then I went to go check out her workout routine, and then really had to fix that because she was using like a Pilates machine at home, and half the bands were broken. So I mean, you could take one finger and move this cable machine. So quick fix, ordered that on Amazon. But yeah, that's the whole thing was if you're trying to help a family member, you gotta inspire them and find something that they want first. A lot of my clients, they want to go do this run, or they want to get to a certain weight, or it's half time is not even weight. It's some type of event, or summer beach body or something. But you need something, or else you'll never stay on course.
So, okay.
I would have recommended your mom losing 20 pounds before she go on the cruise, because I went on a cruise and I gained 10 pounds. So you
Well,
need
yeah.
to,
Yeah, but you look good for the first few days, and then who cares?
Don't take pictures with the second half of the cruise. Just the first. So, question. There's somebody that we both love a ton, but he is self-sabotaging. So he will start something and he will be motivated, whatever it is that motivates him, but he will quit. And there's no like, hey, remember your motivation. Do you remember what you told me when you started and this, that, and the other thing? I don't care. I'm not doing it anymore. Or he comes up with some sort of excuse as to why he's not going to do this. Do you have suggestions?
Yeah. So on that's where the kind of the accountability factor comes in. And I always tell people, I'm a personal trainer, but even trainers need trainers. Like I can barely stick to my own routine and all that. I need outside influence to help me keep on track. So it's as easy as, I joined this really cool high-tech gym here in Orange County, and I actually met him through my podcast, and it's actually 30 minutes away, and I hate driving places. But I get there and the experience is so cool. It's all new. It's not my gym where I know everyone and, I've been doing this for so long. I need to get out of there. And, I've got my own coach there. I probably know more than these guys do, but that's fine. But it's more the accountability and them being there for me, and I don't have to think, and they've got my whole program set and everything. And that's what's locked me in. So same thing. We, for the loved one you're speaking of, finding something to hold them accountable. It could be signing up for a group gym, like a group class type thing, or boxing. You got to find something, and with a coach. Now there's tons of online coaches out there too, so you don't even have to go anywhere. You need someone with a set schedule. We said we talk once a week or once a month, and that's what's going to hold you accountable, and that'll last longer than what he's been doing before.
Yeah, that hasn't worked.
But you got to find that. Right gym, right person, all that kind of stuff, and it takes time. That's fine. You can go through a different ones, but he'll vibe with somebody or vibe with some place, and then boom, then you lock that in.
And having a workout partner or a coach, it's just that accountability. You're not going to leave me hanging. You're not going to make me go to the gym. That's so important.
And I always talk about that too, and I've experienced that with one of my friends who I'm now trying to get back in the zone again with going with him and doing it with like friends. It's people's lives change or their schedules change. They're the worst workout partners. Eventually it's going to fizzle out. Nothing's working and you're barely working out or doing what you need to do. Having someone that you don't know that you're paying, like I said, a coach, an online coach, a gym, something where they are there for you every single time, no matter what. That's the type of accountability you need.
Yeah.
We've learned a lot. I mean, I don't know if a trainer gets it like a health coach does, but just hearing, and I'm hearing from the outside, but addiction to food is a real thing. I mean, the excuses they make up sounds like an addict on drugs. I mean, and just like, they just make up these kindergarten stories. It's just so fake of a story you made up. Or yesterday I slipped and I couldn't do it and I could only eat at McDonald's.
No,
what?
That's could have gotten something else.
If we can make it work, and we had a 22-hour workday yesterday, you can make it work. It's just you didn't want to make it work.
And I think of not being ready to change. I think, yes, that motivation is definitely key. Accountability, 120%. That I need accountability. I know that. But if I had, before I was ready, it wouldn't have worked. And so I think that's probably the main issue, probably. Yeah. Yeah.
There's that spark that you need, but that's why, you put yourself out there and so do, whatever the other coaches and other gyms out there just got to keep putting their info out there. And eventually something will spark with that one person to at least make the step to go. And then once you're kind of in the zone, you've got your accountability set, you've got your motivation, you're so absorbed with, the whole fitness concept. And you start searching out, most people start searching, Googling whatever they can. And that's good. That's what helps keep that mindset and keep them on track. Like you said, because once that spark dies, then things start falling apart. They start, making excuses of not talking to their accountability coach. And then too much time goes by and then boom, they're out and they back in where they started.
Yeah. I have a question.
Mhm.
And tell me if you want to pass, because it could be touchy for some people. I don't know. The gastric bypass surgery. I've always felt like it's kind of a cheat way out. And I feel
Mhm.
like a lot of people get it and they have great results. And then they gain it back because they stretch back out their stomach or however it works. What is your opinion on that? Is that a good tool to get somebody started? And then once they get back, okay, well, you saw that didn't work, or that did work at first, but you have to have continuation. What do
Yeah.
you, that makes sense? Or did I just,
Yeah, no, and I've got some thoughts on that.
okay.
So, from at least all the clients and people I know that have done that, one, it's just some people have made it work, a lot haven't because of what you just said, and they just go right back to the horrible ways. And
Right.
then the issues of what comes off of that, like the indigestion and the acid reflux, like it's just that particular one doesn't seem that great to me. There might be other better products out there later that do kind of the same thing that may not have as many side effects. But the main issue to address is, the fact that they didn't want to lose the weight, or they didn't do it the right way, or at least attempt and get down to like, oh, I'm getting progress, I'm dropping weight, I'm healthy, I've got a healthy foundation and lifestyle. Then if they want to do that just to get kind of the next level, for whatever reason they just can't, then I don't see a problem with that as long as they earned it. And I'll tell you a story of one of my other friends that went and got surgery. He wanted the V-shaped gap for his abs, and he went and got that surgery to liposuction, just right off the love handles. But I already knew that it wasn't going to work because, one, he's just so hit or miss with his workouts. His drinks like a fish. He eats like garbage. I was like, you do know that they do suck the fat cells out, but your body will create new ones to hold the new fat stores that you put in. And it's not going to be in the same place. It's going to be in random places, blotchier, and all that. And that's what happened. So had he had a good foundation, was doing 2 to 3 workouts a week, had a decent, diet, then I'd be okay. Be like, okay, you earned it because you already are kind of lean and your foundation is good. And for those people, I said, okay, if you want the aesthetics of having the super ripped out, pull out all that lipo, all that out, then okay, you earned it. So that's kind of my commentary on those surgeries, whether or not you believe those are, if they're acceptable or not. But that's, if you have to earn it first before you get it.
He got fat taken out, and then it made like pot marks, like.
No, they did a good job. They sucked out the fat cells and smoothed out the skin and stretched it down. But the problem is over the course of years and years, he kept eating and drinking, doing all the same stuff. So it started coming back out in different areas, not where it got pulled out. So maybe a little bit in that area, but then higher up on his stomach, and then more on his right glute than the left glute, just all random weird places. Weird. And it's just your body needs to store this stuff. And if what it's not working, it creates more cells.
Wow.
You would have to endlessly keep doing surgeries, but you don't even know where the body's going to store it next. So that's why I don't, like that unless you did the work to get it.
On that. I like your thinking on that.
It's funny, the doctors will tell you, just go ahead and get it done. Yeah, we can do it. Yeah, go ahead and get it done. But I don't like that.
Yeah, but if you have no foundation to hold it off, there's no point in spending the money, wasting the money for it.
Yeah.
So tips on men over 40. What is some tips you got?
Kind of for everybody. For men, the typical I see is, so the drinkers, okay, that's fine. Let's not take that away, but let's work on, not drinking every single day, more if you're going to have a Friday, Saturday, maybe Sunday if you have to, but to have the body be clean for the, mine is, Monday through Friday. If you can keep it clean there, have fun on your weekends, you do so much damage by giving your body that break versus toning down the weekend, but now drinking 7 days a week. Your body never has a chance. You'll never get the gains that you want. So that's one. Another one is the typical American diet is just, super high in sodium, very low in potassium. So a fun one to do that for your audience too is instead of tracking your macros, which is your, what we're used to, let's track our protein, fat, and carbs. Track your micros. So this is your potassium, calcium, zinc, all your vitamins. And, a lot of labels per law, they don't even make you put some of that stuff on there. They just, usually sodium is the one they're worried about. So a cool website to check out is called eatthismuch.com. And it'll show you every single food product on the planet in raw form, cooked form. So like spinach, you look at spinach raw, and you could set whatever you want, like a cup of spinach, and there's 150 grams of let's pick potassium to start, because you're filling out your chart and you want to see how much potassium you're eating. Cooked spinach has about like 450 for that same cup. So the process changed the dynamics of the macros. So what you do is, just create a little chart and easy thing, I'm not a doctor, check with your doctor always, but easiest thing is to Google, what is the RDA of sodium, your recommended daily allowance. Google, that's all posted, and they've been talking about that for a long time. How much sodium you should have, potassium, magnesium. So just start with those and then use that website and fill it all out. And the number one thing people are going to start seeing is, one, the sodium is off the charts. And we kind of already knew that because we're eating out a lot and all that. And then potassium is not even like a fifth of what you're supposed to be having. It needs to be flipped the other way. And potassium and sodium work together as your electrolyte balance. So the more sodium you have, the more water retention you hold, higher blood pressure, the puffier you look. And potassium more works with the electrical, parts of your body and pushes sodium out, which pushes that water weight out as well. So that's an easy one to fix with people who use food products are always better, but just getting them to watch that and just add a couple things in there, like avocados are real high, coconut water is real high. Meats always have pretty high in potassium, but you got to worry about the meats that have the high sodium. So you just kind of work your charts out and work that, but you'll see that you'll start flushing out all this water weight, which you might have thought is fat, but it was technically, water. So that's a good one for everybody, but a lot of the guys have a little bit more water weight.
I thought women had more water weight. I thought they just held it different.
Now we all hold the same amount, but I think the guys typically eat worse diets, so they have a lot more water weight to flush out.
That's why. Is that why men lose weight so much faster? They're getting the.
Well, that end, it's genetically just, engineered guys put on a little bit more lean muscle mass, just easier. And then the more lean muscle mass you have, the higher your BMR is, your basal metabolic rate, so you burn more calories. But it doesn't mean females can't get it. It's just one of those things that's not fair. It just comes a little bit easier for us, but there's other stuff on the female side that's easier than for the males.
So on the flip side, do you have any tips for women over 40? Because you had a podcast episode that was devoted to that. So I didn't know if you had something. If not, I have lots more questions.
Yeah. For females, the biggest thing that I get through their diets is just the protein. Even my own wife, I'm harping on her, and she's changing her diet. I'm writing everything down, and she's not even hitting like 35 grams of protein. And she's 5'10". I won't say her weight, but she needs to be closer to about 100 grams of protein. And then she comes into the same thing where like, I have my little protein drink that I have from this, thing that she saw on social media, and I'm sure it's healthy and everything, but it's like 15 grams of protein. That's nothing. Like you need to have like 8 of those a day to even get close. So those are the little tweaks that I, do with females. And the one thing they come back is, well, I don't want to be bulky and have all this mass. You're not going to get that bulky, unless you're lifting 200-pound weights and like, some of the big bodybuilders are. So you'd be surprised of how much you can lift for strength and everything, and you'll barely show any muscle. So
this has nothing to do. I don't know. You might have a podcast episode about this, but what about the vegan, vegetarian? You're out there in California. It's everywhere. What do you think about it? Is it unhealthy?
Well, first of all, going to restaurants and eating vegan is usually the unhealthy stuff, because they got to make it taste good, so it's real high in sodium. We come back to that problem. But for the vegans, and I've tried going vegan and vegetarian. I did for 9 months, And the one thing, I'll give it to them is like, man, you just feel so clean in your system. You're, no inflammation if you have any issues with that. But the problem with the vegetarian vegan diet is even worse. It's so hard to get that high protein count. And then if you even do try to get that high protein count, you overshoot your carbs like 300%, because almost every protein source in that vegetarian vegan diet is also carb, which is, carbs are okay, but you have to keep your calories at a certain level to be able to get what you want. Say you're trying to stay on a 2,000 calorie diet or whatever, but that requires you getting like 100 grams of protein. That 100 grams of protein in that vegan lifestyle threw you up to like 3,000 calories because it matched, it has that much more in carbs. So that was a problem I had. And the only workaround was, okay, just go for the choices that are no carbs. Well, that leaves out, that's basically tofu. I don't want to sit there and eat soy all day. Pea protein supplement drinks. Okay, that'd be an option, but you'd have to drink, 3 or 4 of those a day and eat nothing else. So,
Wow.
that was my issue with that. So I do have a vegan protein powder that I like because I am allergic to whey and I do feel good on it. But I have to mix in the meats as well.
Yeah.
I saw a meme the other day that said, if the vegan diet's so great, why are they always trying to make everything taste like meat? It might be old.
I just saw one today too saying, this one's pretty bad, but they're like, if you're worried about killing animals, how many animals do you think are killed with the machines they use to pull up all the stuff and all that? But I won't go into detail on that one.
Joe Rogan talks about it all the time because there's always buzzards and crows and everything in the ground nesting birds and baby deer and everything.
Yeah. I'm just going more off of, my results off protein. I'm not, I try not to get in those political discussions.
Especially where you are. We're out in Virginia. Where it's a little more.
Oh yeah, I'm in California. I gotta watch out what I say over here.
Got customers, man.
Yeah.
So here, let's get into crazy myths. What are some crazy? You did a podcast episode about fitness myths. What are some crazy fitness myths that you can debunk?
Well, I think that was a good one I kind of touched on lightly was, for like females, if I work out and raise my weights, I'm going to get too bulky. No, the amount of weight you need to get that kind of bulk and plus the amount of food you need to eat to even get that size. That's why these female pro bodybuilders look like that. Not to mention the drugs they take on top of that to get there. You will never look like that. Lean muscle is thin and lean. If you've ever seen a pound of fat versus a pound of muscle, a pound of fat is like not paper thin, but it is so stretched out and thin versus a globular pound of fat is like, more than the size of a football. So that's the kind of the thinking process when you think, okay, when I'm putting on lean muscle mass, it's always going to be these sheets of muscle that are real thin going spread across your body. So that's one myth. And then trying to think of any other myths. You got any you want me to debunk?
You got anything? The Arnold thing probably was my main thing because I thought that I was supposed to work out. That's what Arnold said, but I read that when I was in high school. That was a while ago.
Well, but then that's the other thing too is you find out later that what were these guys taking that even allowed them to get to that size, and that's a kind of a thing that in the personal training world you'll see guys that are models and all that are like that, and for the rest of us we're like, okay, well, if you openly come out and say like I got half of this from like using steroids, okay, we respect you, whatever you want to do to your body, and they've gotten better at that process of doing that. But the ones that try to hide it and say, no, I did this with hard work, this and that, and you need to come train with me, we're like, man, and it's just you can't get that size without taking stuff.
Well, I had a magician friend of mine. You might know the video. Oh man, it's going to be on the tip of my tongue. I want to look like that guy. It was a DVD. It was a magician. That's what it was.
Yeah.
And he wanted to look like a bodybuilder that he saw in Men's Health and Fitness. So just out of nowhere, he went from dad bod to a bodybuilder, steroid free, and he worked with a trainer like you. It's a award-winning documentary. It's great. You can find it on YouTube. You can get the download.
It wasn't sustainable though. He
said not at all. He ever felt in his life. He came in Michigan in his first try ever
Well, and that's the thing. You can get to a decent size if you look at all the bodybuilders that are like natural bodybuilders. I mean, they look like a good size and everything, but go put them next to Mr. Olympia. That's what I'm saying. They're like 1/10 the size of that, and they can never get to that guy's, level unless they take stuff. But yeah, the human body you can build it up a decent amount and look good. That's what the natural bodybuilders do.
But I think what killed him was training for the competition itself when you had to get your body fat down to 3%. I think that's what killed him.
Yeah. And then, just here's a fun one, like, Chris Hemsworth, Thor, the amount of work he had to put in, and he was on stuff too. If you Google it, because all that stuff usually leaks out. I don't think he's taking steroids, but there is stuff to, chemicals and everything to help you, get to that kind of size. So it's funny, like just going through all the top celebrities, like Brad Pitt was another one in Fight Club. His cocktail list was like 25 different things. Not technically illegal, but not really something you should be putting on your body. But look what he looked like in Fight Club, though. So my podcast is not about trying to look like that.
Yeah. So all those were have bad side effects. Yeah. Yeah. Right.
So what about The Rock with his crazy Sundays? If you follow him on Instagram or seen any of his posts, his cheat day Sunday. I don't like that because your body's going to crash on Monday and Tuesday, and then it's Wednesday before you're back on track to.
But is he on things? He might be one of those that use, because he's big.
Yeah, well, he was on things when he first started, and once you get there, now you got it. Minus maybe like a 30% reduction, but still, he got his size from that way back in the day. Healthy now, and his cheat days. The whole thing with the cheat days. That's another method that bodybuilders use to kind of break through different plateaus is, going nuts and having a lot of calories and bad calories, because it provides a shock to your system. And when you're trying to hit new plateaus, especially for these bodybuilder type people, doing the same thing monotonously, I mean, you get to a certain set point where your body's just used to it. It's not going to grow. There's no stimulus anymore. So changing up the workout program is one way to do it. Shocking the body with, changing the diet or doing a cheat day, because as soon as the next day comes, you're back going clean, your body will snap right back. But that shock provided the stimulus to get them to that next level.
I'd be afraid I was crashed the next day. I'd want to stay all the next day. That's for the people who are trying to look like The Rock. So that's fine. But okay,
it's not for me and you.
If
I did that, I would gain the weight. It would take me the whole week to lose what I've gained on that one day, and then you do it again, and you're just in a cycle.
And you run that risk of your cheat day was so awesome, and then you just can't not have another one the next day and another one the next day. Oh, there we go. Now we got a little addiction problem.
Yeah.
Well, I always start on Mondays fresh, so having a cheat day on Sunday, you start Monday morning fresh. That's a good idea.
Varies per person.
Can do it.
All right, so we got 8 minutes left, man. Tell me about your podcast. We've talked about a couple different things, and tell me about your training. How people can somebody in Virginia hire you?
Yeah, so that's kind of a blessing in disguise. COVID was a horrible thing, but it kind of pushed a lot of us trainers into the online world, which a lot of the social media superstars were already kind of doing that and pulling some of our clients. So we all jumped in the world, but now it's just so much scalable. I can help so many other people, across the US, across the world. A good chunk of my audience is actually from Australia. Who knew that was going to happen? But so my podcast is called Over 40 Fitness Hacks. I kind of look for the over 40 persons just wants to kind of lean down, build a little bit of muscle mass. Very simple, but not give up their social life. That's my biggest thing. So I only want clients who know that they don't want to give up, their weekends or whatever, that I'm your guy versus, some of the other trainers we were talking about and bodybuilders. But my whole show is themed over just all the different hacks, always build healthy habits. But here's a couple little hacks to help you along the way so you can do some of those social things. And, like I said, my 1 week I'll be on the show talking about kind of those fun fitness hacks or what I'm doing for some of my clients. And then the other week I get someone in the health and wellness field that's a expert at, something that I think might be interesting to the audience, just to, keep the flow of the show and always want to be on the latest trends. As you know, I feel like that's my job being in this industry, is trying out stuff before the masses do, so I can give them my honest opinion on each thing.
That's good. That's good. You really know what you're talking about then. You're
Yeah,
not just
and it's fun. I'm passionate about it, and so that's what I kind of sell. Like, I'm doing this work behind the scenes, and then you have the client has a sounding board to throw things at, like you were mentioning the gastric bypass. So I've had a bunch of people that have done that or know about them, and that was my opinion on it.
Yeah. Good.
I had a thought. I've lost it. Just your passion, man. That's what attracts me to you, because I love people that are passionate in their industry, and you're trying things out. You want to come to somebody that's passionate. I've had trainers that was just like, all right, yeah, do a couple more of those. And, they let their own health and wellness fall off the wayside because it was just a 9-to-5 job. That's not cool.
Yep. And that doesn't really help motivate the client if they're falling apart themselves. But,
Right.
That kind of just works itself in life with anyone in any of their jobs. And you just find the ones that are still doing it, still going for it. And, the beautiful thing about podcasting I discovered is, I've always been kind of stuck in my local area here in Orange County. And I know a ton of physical therapists, ton of chiros, and all these different modalities, which is great. But now with the podcast and the online world, I'm meeting people from across, like I said, the US and other countries, and people think differently and do stuff differently in other spots. And it's so cool, to be able to talk to them and absorb all the information that they have. There's just so much out there. It's endless. And because of what I'm doing in the podcasting, I get to tap into that. And a lot of, people in my field don't. So I feel
That's
fortunate.
awesome.
And your podcast, what I saw, they're like 10 minutes or less. Are they?
Yeah, and that was the other thing, because when I got in the podcasting world, I'm like, I can't stand listening to Joe Rogan for an hour and a half. Like, it's insane. I was like, I love getting to the point and all this stuff. So I was like, that's what I'm going to do my show with. Just give the people, this is the title of what I'm going to talk about, and I'm just going to nail it 8 to 10 minutes. And if you like the show, you'll continue listening to the other stuff. But if not, then you got what you wanted in that 8 to 10 minutes.
And yours is doing really well. You're really proud of it. It's doing real good. Awesome, dude. That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for being on here today. Is there anything else you want to say? It's the Over 40 Fitness Hacks podcast. Do you have an Instagram account you can pitch?
I don't do a lot of social media right now, but I do have a Twitter account at Over 40 Fit Hacks. But the best way is just, to find my show on iTunes or Spotify, or my website, over40fitnesshacks.com. And, I'm more trying to grow the show and spread the word right now just by pumping out, more and more episodes. So that's kind of my focus.
There's somewhere on that podcast website where people could contact you to be able to say, hey, you might be a good fit for me.
Or ask you for a topic.
Yeah, I've got my email on there, project B as in boy 36 at Gmail. And that's on all the podcast descriptions and on my website. That's how people have been reaching me.
He also, it looks like you answer a lot of questions, and that gives you your jump off point for the actual episode. So that's awesome too, that you do that.
Yeah. And that's the other beauty too of, still training clients. I'm still actively doing that online or in the gym, but it brings up like cool topics to talk about, because one of my clients really had an issue and they wanted to know something about a certain topic. Ooh, bam, I'll throw this on the show.
Nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Thank you so much for being on here. And our first video podcast.
Yeah.
Thank you. We kicked you off a couple times and you got with us, but thank you.
Thanks for your patience.
The only thing
No worries.
is we'll see you next week.
All right. Thank you so much.
Check us out online at wesiseli.com and patreon.com/Wes_Iseli for behind-the-scenes videos, blooper videos, never-before-seen footage, discounts on merchandise, magic trick tutorials, and more. That's Wes Iseli, spelled WESISELI.